Alrighty, we are back. We are back, we are back, we are back. And today we are asking the question up here, can the Creality K2 Plus print a Tyranid Miniature on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle? If you've been following the page for a while or you've seen some other ones, you probably already know the answer. But a lot of people don't know that you can print miniatures on a 3D printer. So that's kind of amazing. And we've done a few of those. And recently what ended up happening was I had some issues with my K2 Plus, and so I shut it down, brought it back up, did the whole recalibration, the tuning and the, thing. It takes like 15 minutes or so. Redid everything on that and wanted to run a test piece. So instead of just doing, the little benchy thing, the benchies are okay, but I thought, I'm going to try to print a miniature. And so I was like, what could I print? What could I print? So I printed out a number of Warhammer figures in resin and stuff like that. And I wanted something a little bit different. And I realized I hadn't done a Tyranid. So I was like, let me check into some bugs. So I went on to Colt's 3D page, which is a great page. It's almost kind of like Things or Printables or Maker World or Creality Cloud, all of those kind of similar. You can find free models and, you put in Tyranid or Bug or something like that. And usually you can find some free models. So I found a free model and we're going to take a look at that. And before we do that, we're going to rock into a latte. I've got a salted caramel latte going on. So, yeah. That is so good. Double shot, of course. So I am raring to go. Oh, by the way, my name is Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, American expat who is living here in Korea. So, yeah, there's that. So besides doing all that stuff, I do this 3D printing thing, and like I said, I wanted to find out if we could print a Tyranid on the Creality K2 Plus. And let's take a look and I'll show you what we ended up doing. So I found this guy on the Colt's page, Colt's 3D page, and is a simulator emissary. It's a Tyranid. That's what it comes down to. And this is the guy here, Io Butov. And he has got a number of different figures, and so he's got some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and follow him. He's got like 51 designs so far, and he's got a number of things. Let me see if we can get. So he's got a bunch of bugs. Let's see if we can make this bigger. There we go. So he's got a number of bugs, which are basically Tyranids. He's got some vehicle designs. He's got a couple lizards. He's got some other stuff, 3D sketch. Seems like, for Tyranids and stuff like that, not a lot of stuff, but it was free. So I was like, hey, let's go ahead and we'll print this guy out and see if it works. One of the things that I ended up doing on this with the Tyranid is you have to reduce the layer height. And so with the layer height that I used was a 0.16. You can get some good details. I think it'll be tabletop ready because, again, if you think it's got like a 60 millimeter base. And where are some of the, I did a couple others. Let me see if I can find those real quick. And where did those guys go? Oh, okay, here's one. And this is an example of a miniature that we ended up doing. Sorry if the focus isn't good, but this is printed on the Creality K2 Plus, and that is definitely tabletop ready. So we did some stuff there on him. It turned out really well. So, and where's the other one at? I can't find the other one. There's so many of them. Oh, we did another one. Here it is. So here is the orc that we ended up doing. I think World of Warcraft that we got going on there. We did a pretty good, decent job. Screwed up a little bit on the base there. But yeah, this definitely worked out as far as tabletop ready. You know, prime it, do some speed paint on there, and you are good to go. So yeah, you can definitely print some stuff on there. I didn't use a lot of changes because I know there's a lot of people out there that are printing miniatures on FDM printers, FFF printers, and they get knee deep into it. It's like a laundry. They don't use stock settings. They change speeds. They change this and that and the whole 9 yards. It's really an involved process. And they'll get down to the 0.8 millimeter, which is, you'll get more details obviously, but you're limited by the size of the nozzle, which is a 0.4. With that being said, just wanted to, hey, we got Swedish Forge popping in. Welcome to the stream. Always good to have you there. And you know, you're limited by the nozzle size that you have. And so I do have some nozzles coming in that are going to be the 0.2 and 0.5, 0.25. So that'll be kind of an interesting little project to see how much more detail we can get off of some of these miniatures. But as far as like the stock nozzle, what can we expect? And the question is, can the Creality K2 Plus print out the Tyranid? If we take a look there, there's the build plate. So we're going to take a look and see, check out the details and find out how well this printed out. And so with that being said, I'm going to take a swig of my double shot latte. Salted caramel, dark roast, whole milk. Wunderbar, wunderbar. Anyway, so we're going to go over to the paint desk over there and we'll take a look and see what we can end up seeing. And so we will do that and we'll take those things off the build plate, see how well these supports come off. And I'm going to turn on this tablet so that way I can try to read. So I can try to read the let's see. I'm trying to get to my page so that way I can there it is. So I can read some of the comments here. And so let me. Swedish Forge says, thanks, sir. Miniature would probably be better with 0.2 nozzle. Oh, yeah, definitely. Without a doubt. You just can't beat that. So here is what we have. And they're all on the plate. This printed out last night, and I went to bed. So we're just going to get our little thing here. And I had to adjust this. This was the base on there, but it had kind of like a lip and a hollow area. So I just took this into Tinkercad, I filled this up, and we've got a pretty nice little base, 60 millimeter base. So we've got that. And now let's get to the good stuff. Okay. That has got some good details. And I didn't even do variable layer height on this. This was all just throw it in there, set the layer height to 0.16, and we'll go over some of the other settings, but about 99% of this is stock settings. So yeah. And we're trying to get this off in one piece, and I had to paint on, look at that, they're just barely hanging on, because I did set the what was it, the top Z distance at 0.25, And so that way we did get the support, but you can take a look and you can see how just barely hanging on those supports are. But the details on it are pretty nice. So yeah, let me see if I can move this light a little bit. Give it a little bit more. Yeah. So I was pretty happy with that. 0.24, 0.25 seems to be really good. And, ooh, look at that. That is some nice details. So, and this was an interesting, because of this tail, and yeah, these are going to be interesting. So I had to paint a little bit of this, but man, I'm really surprised that this printed out and came out so well. This is going to be good. Still got to be careful to remove. And I used auto trees. I didn't use the slim. So yeah, that turned out really, careful. That turned out really, really nice. Look how delicate that is. We got a little bit of stringing on there, which I do have a new tool to combat the stringing. That is some great, great detail. Again, I'm just amazed with what you can do with 3D printing and the details that you can get on this. So now the fun part is over. Now we get to go to the removing the support. And so let's start with the biggest one, and we can see now we've got some side cutters here. And so we'll do a little bit of operation thing. And side cutters don't really cut, they more just kind of force material out of the way. So it's kind of a, I think the only thing it really cuts would be like kind of a super sharp knife. I mean, these do have a sharp edge on them, but it's just kind of, These are coming off fairly well. Just want to make sure I don't break off any pieces and parts, but there it is. Nice. Look at that. That is some good detail. I like that. Okay, successful. And of course that's successful. Oh, and I picked up this little butane torch thing. So if we got a little bit of, where's the one little bit of stringing that we had? Wasn't there? A tiny little bit of stringing. On that one, wow, I'm pretty impressed. I'm not seeing a lot of stringing, which is nice. Just on this one piece. So, and it's just very, very tiny. But we got our cool little thing here, and so we're going to play with fire. I'll just do a quick once over, and it is all gone. So let's see if we can't take off. Ooh, that fire made it nice and soft. So that is something nice. But these small, delicate parts, you got to be careful with those. But those came out great. Yeah, you don't want to go too crazy on the fire. So we did put a little brim on this. Oh, look at that, how nice that came off. And if we can take a look at that, there's some good details on there. Nice. Now, some of this stuff, like that piece I just bent that. But we can fix that. If you haven't got some of this UV resin, especially for small prints, and either for resin or stuff like that, resin or PLA, this stuff is great. And we can just put a little bit on there. I'll just get our UV light, blast that, and boom, Tyranid, little small, sharp, pokey thingy is repaired. It is such a useful tool. And for people that have watched, I have ended up, I've repaired a number of things with this stuff. You probably just get some clear resin, get like a big bottle of it like you would with resin printing. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this stuff off here. Now this, it kind of wrapped around this whole side. And then this side is, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of surgery on this. What kind of figure is that? It's a Tyranid from kind of like a Warhammer. And so we're kind of doing that. So it's kind of like a space bug. And you can see how that is coming off, so that's good. Trying to get better at not breaking things. And it's kind of wrapping around. There it is. Look at that. Oh, I thought we'd have more problems with that, but we didn't. Nice. So we've got another big piece there. The supports are just barely hanging on. What would be nice is to get one of those like ultrasonic cutters and to see how those things are, because that would be an interesting little thing to have. So we're going to look into that. Those are expensive though. And the question is, would it be worth getting one of those? I think I printed this at how many walls? 3 walls? 3 or 4 walls? We'll take a look. And we'll see what happens. I want to make sure that I don't snap off anything. And boom, there we go. Nice, nice. That came out nice. Such good details. I like it. Trim off a little bit of that brim, because I did put a brim on here. Because I thought, you know, some of this stuff, and then I did paint in some supports. Because I thought, you know what, just in case, especially for the pieces like this, that you've got a tall piece, and then at the very top, I mean, you can see how small that is. And when you start getting up there, so I painted a support onto this, so that way it wouldn't like move around as it was printing. Give it a little bit more stability. And yeah, brims are good. Brims are friends. Friendly brims, yes. Gotta love the brims. They definitely give you that warm fuzzy. Isn't that nice how that came off? Just, if I didn't have brims on these, that might be a problem. But with brims, you know you're not going to have any problems. It's that extra security. And there is the other piece. Look at that. That is nice. Not too much on the underside. Not too bad. Okay. And I'm unsupervised. So the wife went and she's doing her yoga thing. I'm taking this week off from the gym because I had a little shoulder tweak. So that is what we got going on there. So that turned out nice. Got some good details. Nice, nice. And this, is that a little, look at that. I mean, that's crazy that that was able to print. That claw. That is pretty amazing. Unsupervised Steve, yes, unsupervised. So, do a little bit of operation game here. Nice. Concept Gaming. I take it you have seen Anatoly on YouTube at the gym? Yes, I have. He's pretty funny. I like it. He goes in as a janitor, and yeah, that's pretty good. With like a 32 or 52 kilogram. Look at that, the details on that. Can you see that? Yeah, look at that. That is amazing. Some great detail. But yeah, he's pretty funny. You got all those big guys in there, and they're like, "Oh, get away from there! You can't lift that." And then he lifts more than they do. Yeah, he's strong. Holy crows, he's strong. He is one strong dude. Let's see, we need to... There we go. And once again, this one's got some great details. You can take a look at that. If I can hold it right. I can't wait to get my allowance, order that new camera with a better autofocus. Really nice, and all that of a 0.4 millimeter nozzle size. Yeah, it is, Mr. Ferrithus. Welcome. I was pretty surprised. Like I started out, I was saying that I had some problems, and my K2 Plus was sounding weird. It made some unusual noises. So I was like, let me shut it down, start it back up, and then run the input shaping and calibration all over again. And I wanted to print something out, to verify that everything was okay. And so I ended up, I was like, I didn't want to do a benchy because everybody does benchies. So I was thinking about what haven't I printed, and I haven't printed a Tyranid. So I was like, yeah, let's do a Tyranid. Now this is going to be interesting because we have the supports are kind of wrapped around the dude here, his tail, which is very small. So we're going to try to do some surgery. And this is why I'm kind of wondering about a ultrasonic cutter. Of course, they're really expensive, but maybe I can get one of those, and we'll try to do a comparison. Because really with side cutters, it's just kind of smushing the material, and it cuts a little bit, but not like a lot. Ferrithus asks, when does the allowance reset? I think it's the 15th. And so we do our little credit card payment thing, pay off our credit card every month, and then, yes, look at that, wonderful. Be careful. Nice, nice, nice. A little bit. Look at that. We got some pretty good details on there. That is pretty good for a 0.4 and a 0.16. So, wondering if the ultrasonic cutter would just melt the plastic from the friction. I don't know. I'm wondering if the friction is so high, because usually it's like 40,000, something like that. And yeah, if it does melt it, that'll be interesting to see. So we'll see. Concept Gaming says, are you using 0.32 on your top Z for the overhangs? I'm using a top Z distance of 0.25. So some people were saying that you should use double your layer height, so 0.16 due to that 0.32. I actually haven't tried that. I just used 0.24, 0.25. And I had read about that, and I was like, maybe I should do that on this. And I was like, well, I don't want it to get screwed up, and if something happens, So I think what I'll end up doing is I'll do a test piece, or maybe just print out another one of these, or another bug, but from the same model guy, and then we can try that out and see what happens. Okay. I'm not sure how this goes. I'm assuming like that. Yeah. Okay, I think that goes up like that. And then I think this goes there, like that. And then we've got I'll have to pull up a picture and see. Or does this go on to here? I think this goes here. Like so. Yeah, I think that's how that goes. Yep, that's how that goes. Maybe we could do these feet first. How it goes like that. So that'll sit on the stand. And we just so happen to have some glue. This CA glue that I picked up with that activator spray, holy crow. That is like incredible. It is crazy. But even without the activator spray, this stuff is really, really good. I was surprised. Oops, whoa, holy crow, that's a lot. You don't want that much. Wilson's not paying attention. Okay, let's see. And yeah, this stuff, I mean, look at that. That's still a little bit, seriously. Maybe I should just do the spray. Yeah, why not? But yeah, this activator stuff is the bomb. We got George here. Yeah. If I can get the cap off of this, seriously. And so there it is. AG Adhesive Guru. And yep, we're good. So now, put a little bit on this side. We'll do the same thing. We'll just do a little spritz. Should be good to go. Boom. Let's see. Can you pause your stream? I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Don't want to miss anything. I'm excited. I'll try to go slow. Maybe that'll work. CA glue is pretty magical. That's true. Yes, it is. It's like sorcery. Crazy how a ton, one ton glue was originally made for the military to glue up wounded soldiers. Really? I know when I was in the military, I always had super glue with me. That's before they did the new skin and kind of stuff, liquid bandage and stuff like that. I always had a little super glue and have that in my kit. And then that way, if I got cut or something like that, wash it out and then super glue it, hold it, and be good to go. Okay, so now, but he's got 2 arms and then he's got all these other things. So where did these other things go? And then, where's his head? Is he missing a head? I think he's missing a head. No, I don't think that's how that goes. I think those go on the side, maybe? Interesting. Huh. Did I miss a head? Because we got all this stuff here, but where the hell's that stuff go? I have no clue. I'm pretty sure that goes there. Like that. Maybe we need to do a picture for reference, because we have all these other parts. So let's see. And we don't have a head. Did the head not print, or did I not do a head? Okay. So we got 2 arms. We got these things. And I know that goes like that. But he doesn't seem to have a head. Was it like late last night that I just kind of wasn't paying attention? Maybe. Let's go back to the desk and get a drink. And we can see what we got going on here. Okay. It is odd. Odd. Headless monster. And Concept Gaming's got jokes. That's no way to get ahead in life. You should change to 0.2 nozzle test prints. Yeah, I know. I've got them coming. I ordered them. Got the headless monster. Yeah. Maybe I did have a beer last night, so maybe that was the thing. It was a little, I don't know. Let's go back and we'll check the picture here. And we can see there it is. And he has some type of head type thing. He does have a head of some type. Yeah, he does. It looks like it's a little, let me see if I can get a better look on this, and we'll just kind of, and okay, so the other thing we can end up seeing, I wish I could stop this. We can kind of see where the arms go. Stop moving. So yeah, we've got the little head thing that's kind of missing. Did I not do the head? And then that is just odd. So we got an arm down there, and then the big little thing there. So we got the arm down below, that thing there. And we're missing a head, I think. Really? We're missing a head? Seriously. But at least we know we can put on the body. So let me see. Let's pull this up here. You know what? Let me try something else. Let's see if we can remove the background on that real quick. And move. What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Maybe we can make this big. So, what? Seriously? Where did my thing go? No. Seriously. Okay. Whew. What is going on? I'm having all kinds of problems. What? Seriously? Where is my thing? That's not what I want. Ecamm Live, I want that. My program ended up okay, I think we're back to normal now. Holy crow. The streaming program that I was using, I moved it to get the picture and it went crazy. So it went down below the where the desktop was. So yeah, that, and I couldn't get it back. Okay. The joys of live streaming. Okay, so let me check. Now I need to check the downloads. Because did I get everything? Okay, let's see. Base, heart symbol, render. Threat, no. Okay, we got that. Okay, one body. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's bring up our, because I might have made a mistake. No, what are the odds? What are the odds? Never happen. Okay. Let's see. So, come on. Okay, so we got a bunch of pieces there. That was everything. And we don't have the head. So everything did print out. But we didn't have, well, there's the body. So we got the body. Yep, we got the body. So let's just get everything here. We'll just select all of this and we'll move this off to the side. And now we'll bring this back. So we got the body in there. If we look at the little picture, we're missing the headpiece over there. So we got the body. And the long spiky things are down below as small little arms. And so we got that. Pose, 11 items. Yeah, see how he's, now this one's got a different one. He's got a different head with the tongue and everything. Okay, so now we know at least where these big things go, and that is little tiny arms. Let's see, do we got that? Yeah, that's a leg. So we already got that. Tail, talon, talon right, talon left, left, head. We didn't print the head. Dang it. Seriously? Really? How did I miss that? I thought I grabbed everything. Let's see, we got another head. So we got two different types of heads. So we can see there. So we got one with a pointy head, and then we got one with like a broadsword head. And then we got one with kind of like the mechanical thing. You know what we could do is we could print out both of those. Let's just do a whole nother bed. I'll bring these out to the other bed. I can't believe I didn't print those. I swear, I promise, I pulled everything. I got everything else but that. You can print it now. It won't take that long. Yeah, that's true. So let's see. Let's see how we want to do this. I think that'll be good. I think that'll be okay. I might want to rotate that a little bit. And like that, and like that. So it's pretty much, that way we can minimize, because on the underside, I don't mind having supports on the underside because we're not going to be able to see that. And then this is orientated so that way we don't have to have a lot of supports. And Venom says, check the support material. Yeah. Ford says you can print it now, it won't take that long. That's true. You can print it now, it won't take long. Famous last words, better print two of them. Yeah, we will print two of them. Okay, let's see. Let's move this like that. I'll rotate this like so. And I think we'll be good to go. So now, we'll print those two guys. Just a little bit. I like everything. Okay, I think that's good. Okay. So, I guess this would be a good time to go over the settings. We might as well, since we are here. With the settings, we got a layer height of 0. Can you read that? Let's move that over. Layer height of 0.16. So again, we're using the 0.4 millimeter nozzle. Everything else is stock, and we're on classic, so that turned out well. We go to strength, we use 4 walls, and this might be something here, detect thin walls, which says which can't contain 2 lines, uses a single line to print. It may not print as well because it's not a closed loop. So this is kind of like saying if you, let's say you're doing 4 walls or 5 walls, and there's not enough room to put those 5 walls, then you would use this setting. And so it would kind of abbreviate the number of walls, kind of like you see in that little thing there. Where is it? Right there. Let me get up. Seriously? Really? That's what you're going to do? Ah, bastard. It won't let me do it. But in that box, it kind of shows, if you can take a look at that in Creality Print, it shows you how if you have not enough space for the number of walls, you can have that detect thin walls and it will adjust accordingly. We didn't have any problems with ours, so there's that. Sparse infill density, we did 10%. Infill, we did adaptive cubic. Of course, with something this small, it's probably not going to make much of a difference anyway. I don't know what I think the default is grid in 10 or 15% or something like that. As far as that, everything else is good. Speed, the only thing I changed on that was this overhang speed of 60. That was recommended by somebody, I don't know. It's worked ever since. So supports, we did tree auto default on build plate only, and then our top Z distance is 0.25. But let's try out that let's try that 0.32. Well, let's do one at 0.25, and then we will do one at 0.32 for that that top Z distance. Everything else is good. No prime tower. We did a little bit of outer brim on that, so that way we get some added bennies on there. Can't believe I didn't print ahead. Ferris says, why are you using adaptive infill with so little? Yeah, these tiny prints, I just prefer strength over saving a center. Yeah, it's not about saving pennies. I just wanted some sort of infill. So let me see, let's get back to this one. Because yeah, it's all about the strength. That's absolutely true. And so like, let's go ahead and let's just slice this plate up and we'll take a look. The latte is officially cold. And this was like 5 hours and 45 minutes, I think it printed out. I just kept it at 100%. I didn't do anything crazy. So, yeah, 5 hours and 48 minutes, cost $1.02. It's like, hey. So when we look at the infill, yeah, we can see that, yeah, there's probably not a real big reason. I just wanted to have a little bit in there. But your walls are definitely going to be the ones that provide the strength and everything. And I just wanted a little bit in there. So I mean, I could do it more, I guess, but I really wasn't looking at doing something. Stop. Come on, stop. Jeez. Okay. So I wasn't doing it to try to save some money. I just threw some stuff in there. Concept Gaming says, I always use out brims even on large bases just to stop them from bowing. Yeah, keep it on the plate, and yeah, brims are good. Brims are good. Or mouse ears. It says, oh, okay, you have 4 or 5 walls. That's good. Infill isn't really important. Yeah, it was just kind of like an afterthought. It's like, I'll throw in a little bit. So yeah, it was just, tree auto default. 4 walls, 10% infill. I think, what was it before? 15. Yeah, so I just set it to 10. I just reduced it a little bit. And I just set it to adaptive just for the fact that I don't like the grid going across the walls of each other. Just in case something does happen, it minimizes the nozzle hitting something, and maybe, especially with small pieces, that was kind of my thinking behind it. So, or gyroid. Gyroid would be good too. If we could do a gyroid on that. But let's go back to this plate. And we will do the one on this. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about the top Z distance. So this is 0.25. And then if we select this one and we go to objects, and then we go down to this, I think we can, let's set this one to 0.32 because that's the rule of thumb is that you take your layer height and you double it, and that's what your top Z distance is. So this will be a first time of trying that. So we'll do that on the one on the right, and the one on the left will be the 0.25. So let's slice this plate up, and we will see what we get. I'm thinking that's good, but I'm also thinking that get up there, that on this piece here and this piece here, I want to do a little bit of a painted support, just because. Again, if there's any wiggling or anything like that as the nozzle is printing this out, I want to have a little bit of extra support. So let's just, man, that is huge. Yeah, we can just do a little nubbin right there. I think that'll be good. Boom. And we will back out of that. We'll go to this one. We'll do the same thing. I just want a little bit right there. And I think we'll be good to go. So let's slice the plate and see what we get. Yeah, so we get a little bit of support there. And I think we should be good. So now, what we can end up doing, I gotta put the bed back. Let's make a little dude here, our little Tyranid guy. Hang on there, we're getting ahead of it, if you got the pun. We gotta get the plate, and I should probably scrape off some of these. Seriously. Alrighty, so we got our plate. Let's go back, and where is that? That's like the center of the plate? Yeah, it's about the center of the plate. And this should take 34 minutes and 12 seconds. And it's going to cost me 9 cents. So let me throw this on the machine. Throw a little bit more glue stick on there. Sorry, I wish I had another key. And this was also glue stick to the rescue. Make sure everything is good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And we come back to the computer. And now, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Go back to the desktop. And again, there's our two little heads. I swore I guess I didn't. I'm old. Maybe I'm having a senior moment. Maybe that was the deal. Grandpa's just losing it, even though I'm not a grandpa. Okay, we don't want to do print calibrations, so we're good. We're printing from the spool holder and with Polymaker PLA. Boom. And we should be good. Keep the fingers crossed. Ah, yes, we have movement. Don't you love it when a 3D printer works? Oh, by the way, we printed out the, let's go back here. Actually, I'll just do a double take. And what do we want to end up doing? I want to go back to here. No, I want to go here. And I want to do that, but I want to change that with, no, I can't do that. Holy crow, why am I so close? Let's back up here, Johnny. It's like, ooh, relax. Okay, we've got movement. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Ferris says, are you still doing the flow calibration on every print? No, I'm not. I just turned that off. So if it's printing good, I'll do one. Well, let's put it this way. If I turn the machine off and I haven't used it in a while, or there's an update to the profiles or something like that, or the firmware, I'll run a calibration and then I'll do the full meal deal, you know, input tuning, the whole 9 yards, and then do the calibration. So I'll do that. But once it's done and it's good, then I don't use it for any other prints. Let's see. Not a grandpa. Ha! Skipped ahead of me. I married a grandpa, making me a step grandpa. Really? Wow. Okay. Swedish Ford says, Steve, do you think Creality Slicer has gotten better now after the update? I haven't updated to the new one because I had to go back to a previous version at one time. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait. If I'm getting good prints, I'll just wait. And with the last one that they just had, a number of people were like, hey, this is causing problems, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't go with the last update. And I think somebody just said that there was another update that just happened within the last couple of days. So I can print, so I'm just going to hold off. It is, you know, I'll update the Creality print, but as far as like updating the firmware on the machine, I'll wait until, you know, it's all clear on like Reddit or socials or whatever, and I'll hold off. I'm not like one who'll, ooh, new update, let's do it now. No, I'll wait and wait and wait. So, because somebody will screw it up, and that has happened. Let's see. New square scene overlay. Okay, that's what I want. And we're going to take this border width. We're going to make this a little bit smaller. And let's see, the shape I want to be square-ish. And then we're going to make some adjustments so we can get some. No, that's not going to work. Stop moving. Can I adjust that? Okay, no, but I can move this. And then I could adjust that. And so we can kind of do this. So we can get our Creality cam going. Keep an eye on our print here. I'm sorry this is taking so long. It's just, I've got to do that. And then we'll throw in a little bit of perspective. And boom, we got our Creality cam drive. Okay, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Feritha says, haha, yes, one of my stepdaughters calls me mom. Really? Concept Gaming says Creality really need to sort their shit out and get some decent developers. Also says that's one of the only things stopping me for going so well into the 3D printing world right now. I think, you know, who is it? Is it Cura? Orchid Slicer. Everybody ought to just pay Orchid Slicer and have Orchid Slicer do the slicers. And in that way, everything is standardized, you know, and Creality could say, hey, we want to use Orca Slicer. Here, throw a couple of our logos on there. Orca Slicer could do that for each company, you know, and then they could stay on top of that better than like Creality does. Creality's got their, you know, their coders and all those people that will make adjustments to their slicer, which is, you know, whatever it came from, Prusa, Orca, whatever, cousins, hooking up with cousins. Just have one company do the slicer and offer that to all the different companies. And then that way they could stay on top of that. Creality and other companies could pay Orca and said, hey, make sure that this thing works with our printers and update it. And I think that would be a lot better. Other people have suggested that as well. Let's see. Swedish Ford says, I like that you can enlarge the camera image in the slicer. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know, there's still some stuff I like in the old version a little bit. That it's kind of missing some stuff there. So, I don't know. It works. It's good. And I can access it on my phone, so, you know, no big deal. Fairtha says, I like the Creality slicer compared to the Bamboo one. I prefer it. I haven't really used many other slicers, but if I get the Prusa Core 1L, I'll be checking out the Prusa slicer and see how that works. So, Concept Gaming says, yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, instead of, this is going back to Orca Slicer offering a service to companies and saying, hey, we will do your slicer for your company. We'll throw in logos and all that. You pay us. Creality could save a bunch of money by not having to do all this stuff and just let somebody who is, you know, slicer oriented, they make money. Creality gets a better product. Everybody gets a better product. Excuse me. That would seem like the way to go to me. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that. So we'll see how that goes. Faritha says, the new UI updates I don't like too much. Less information, more polish. I get it. Needs to look simple, but just means I need more clicks to get where I need to go. Yeah. I understand the dumbing down of trying to make it user-friendly as much as possible to appeal to more people, to make it easier. So more people, oh, this is easy. And then other people get in, oh, this is easy. But for people that want to get knee deep into it, you need to be able to have that option as well. So, yeah, interesting. Ah, so good. Oh, another thing that is so good. Wait, let me go get that. My new toy. Oh, where are you? Welcome. We're going to kill the Scourge, the Tyranid Scourge, with our axe. This is the axe. Holy crow, this came out awesome. I mean, this is awesome. This is really awesome. Weighs about 2.8 pounds, just over a kilo of filament, and it's like 41 odd inches long. I think it's like 11 inches this way, almost 12 inches, and then thick, it's like, I forgot what the thickness was. Let's get the tape measure and we'll see. We'll verify. Trust but verify. So let's go ahead and get this. It's about 40 inches. And this is, it's about 12 inches from here to here. And then wide, about 5.5 or 140, 14 centimeters or 140 millimeters. So yeah, it's about 5.5 inches wide. This is the bomb. I love this thing. I was like, I showed the wife and she's like, seriously? And I'm like, oh yes, seriously. This is going to be awesome. So yeah, this turned out magnificent. We used the CA glue and activator on there, and boy, does that stuff work. Holy crow. Almost needs to be bigger. You know, a little bit longer so I can set it here and I can just like hold it and sit on my throne and have my axe. You have my sword and my axe. Okay. If you got the Lord of the Rings reference, gold star to you. So yeah, that turned out great. I love that. That was an awesome print. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see, let's get, Swedish says Creality can fix the camera to something better than the crappy camera that's in it now in printers. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad. It's better. It's better than Prusa. So, Concept Gaming says, nice, how's the handle? The handle's good. The handle is good. I mean, it is, I'm not going to be swinging this thing, but, and it's got a tiny bit of flex in there, but again, this is just going to be hanging on the wall or a cosplay piece. I might, if I was going to like go around a lot, I would probably up the walls a little bit by 1 or 2 more, maybe the density or the infill or something like that, but yeah, it turned out good. Turned out nice, except for this piece here. That's like thorns on a rose bush. Holy crap. I don't know what the guy who made that was thinking. But yeah, it turned out great. Look at that detail on there. And I mean, layer lines. I think I did this at 0.16. And yeah, turned out beautiful with adaptive layer height on this, because I really didn't want to sand and, you know, prime and paint, prime, fill, sand, prime, fill, sand, all of that stuff. I didn't want to do that over and over again. So while it did take a little bit longer to print, well, the machine's printing it, I don't care. This is going to save me a lot of hours in post-processing. So yeah, it turned out pretty good. Any idea on how you're going to paint it? Yeah, obviously the skull is going to be skull colored. We're going to have, this is either going to be gold, skull is going to be skull colored with some washes on there, so that way we can get some detail. We'll do some metal, some silver, kind of like a lead belcher, muted silver type of color. Probably maybe do some bronze on some of these rivets and stuff like that. And of course, you got the black hose. We'll do that along with some dry brushing to highlight some of the details. I'm thinking about doing this like brown to do in these 2 parts here, to have a brown on there. And then, you know, more of the brushed metal, maybe kind of with the bronze little knots that we got there. I don't think we'll do any gold. I don't know, we could do some gold. Maybe on these little rivets here, something like that. We'll do some rust on there, that's for sure. And yeah, so that's just kind of the general, that's generally what I'm thinking of this. So that should be pretty good. Some sanding on the spikes of death. Yes, holy crow. That is crazy. You'd have to wear gloves if you wanted to. If you get your hands just right, you can get the spikes in between your fingers. Kind of like that, you can see that, but you're still, the palm of your hand is still going to get some of those. I can show you. Look at that. Yeah. So I need to do a little bit of filling on that, so we'll see how that goes. Want to sand down some edges, want to try to make it really smooth it out on some of those parts to make it look really good. But we're going to kind of do some grim dark stuff to it anyway, so that can hide some of the imperfections. And you know, most people are not going to, you know, look really close at it. They're just going to say, holy crap, that's cool. Dun dun dun. Ferret says bigger is always better. That's what she said. Like the king. Check the printer. There's something loose on the right side of the head. Oh no! This is true. Let's exclude that. Okay. It should skip it. Good eye, good eye, good eye. So, alrighty. Print fail. But this goes back to what Ferrithus said. Print 2. Yes, print 2. Yes, always print 2. Yep. I like the fact that you can exclude a print on there, which is nice. So if you have multiple items on there and you have something like this that goes wrong, you can exclude, you can pick the one, boom, exclude it, and you're good to go. So yes, yes, yes. Print one head at a time. I don't know. Better that it happens early. Yeah. I told you all to cross your fingers. Somebody didn't cross their fingers. So I'm going to blame this on one of you. I crossed my fingers. I know I did. So we'll continue on. We'll see. Let's get this a little bit. We'll do a little bit more. More is better. More is better. That way we can make this bigger. Like so. And that way we can keep an eye on the print. That's better. Okay. Other way, other way. There we go. Whew. Good thing we printed 2 heads. 2 heads are better than 1. Of course, like my time in the military, 1 is none, 2 is 1. So I think that applied. So hopefully, this has got about 15 minutes left. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I'm wondering if... no, that's not going to work. Let me show. Does everybody know how to exclude an item on like what I just did? If you haven't, you can actually do that from the panel. Let me go take a picture of that. So that way we can show everybody. So let's see. Let's get this. To the top. And boom. Yeah, there was a guy that he was printing some stuff. He emailed me And he's like, I lost an entire plate of a bunch of stuff I was doing because the print failed. And I was like, dude, you can exclude that from the print. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you can do that. So I showed him how to do it, and he was like, oh, I wish I'd known that. So let me want to adjust. We want to, yeah, turn that off. We want to mark up. We want to go right to there. And then that'll be done. Then we'll go to the other one. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's nothing worse than seeing a failed print and you have a bunch of items and then thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose everything. No, you can exclude it. Let's see. The only issue now might be the letter doesn't get enough cooking time before the next one prints because the second model is no longer there. Swedish Forge says I can do the same on the K1 Max. Cool. Never excluded anything on the machine, only from the computer. You should be able to, Swedish, it's in the slicer printer preview. I've never done that either. So we'd have to look that up. But we won't mess with it while this is printing. Cooling time. Okay, cool. Good, good, good. Let me show you, for those people that don't know, let me get some pictures here. We'll do that one, airdrop it, boom! And we are good to go. So, what you can end up doing, and I'll throw some, I can close that. You can exclude prints. So for example, oh no, I don't want all of those. I just want this first one. So let's take a look at this. So there is what we were printing. And of course, the one on the right is the one that had the failure. And if you look at what's enclosed in that white circle, you see like the two boxes and the one box has an X. You go ahead and press that. That's on the home screen. And then that will bring you to this next page. And on the next page that you get, seriously, really? No, it's not. Let me go here. Let me see if we can. Now, can we drag this in? No. Let's see if I can copy it. Copy. And it doesn't. Seriously, this thing is, my program is not being helpful today. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this will get you to the next page, and you can see the number of items. Of course, mine are really small, they're in white. And then you just touch the one, so the one on the right, we touch that, and then that bottom right where it says exclude, that box will go green, and then you press that, and then it is able to exclude that from the print. And so that it'll only print whatever remaining objects are on the thing there. So where are we at? There we go. So we're back. Ferrith says in Creality Print, in the printer view that shows the camera, you should be able to see a representation of the build plate with the various models on it. Click one to exclude it. I don't know if we have that. Concept Gaming says that's good to know. I never knew that. Yeah, so instead of racking your brain and like, oh, I wasted all this time in filament, you can just exclude whatever failed print is there, and you save your filament and a bunch of headaches. So yeah, it's kind of good. Good with the new info. Yes. Concept Gaming says, I've tried needle nose pliers to try and save the print. Yeah. The one print, I can't remember which live stream it was, but I used balled up masking tape and we put it in there. I did it on a live stream and it saved. Oh, it was the miniature. It was the miniature that we did. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. Was it that guy? Yeah, this guy right here. So this guy, and see how his axe is kind of messed up? The supports weren't printing. It was jacked up. And so as it was printing and we were doing a live stream, I got some masking tape, balled it up and put it under, and it supported enough to get the rest of the axe done. So yeah, I mean, the axe was a little messed up, but it worked. So, yeah, that was awesome. What are the odds? What are the odds? So yeah, needle nose pliers. I don't know what happened with that other one. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a good thing that we printed two. Two heads are better than one. Dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Bad puns, bad pun. So, but this is looking pretty good. And as you can see on the, if you can see on there, how it's starting to get to the top, especially with smaller, really small and thin parts. On some stuff, it's kind of, it'll move as the nozzle might hit it. I've seen that a couple of times. Most of the time it doesn't, but a couple of times I have seen that. And I think that's when I ended up doing grid, and I didn't change it to like gyroid or something. But, you know, the infill at that, with such a small part, you wouldn't be able to get that anyway. But that tip was just kind of hitting it just a little bit. So that Z distance was a little bit off. So yeah. Ferrith says not sure where they put hat in the new Creality print user interface. It used to be under the currently printing section. Where they put that in the new Creality print. Yeah, they have changed some of that. Let's see. Yeah, the new layout. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I like the old one better, in my opinion. So, it is what it is. Let's see, what some other interesting things we got going on. For those of you who don't know, I live in Korea, and they're doing a trial on the old South Korean president when he declared martial law here in Korea, and that was really bad form, in my opinion. So now they're seeking the death penalty. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So, just food for thought. Don't do martial law if there's no reason to, and there was absolutely no reason to. Sweetest asks Ferrithus, what country are you from? Ferrithus also says in the same boat, talking about Creality print, the old one was better. Yeah, I think so. I think he had more available information. I get that people want to try to streamline it and make it easy, but they took away stuff, and that was stuff that I actually liked. So, again, that's why everybody should just do Orca, and Orca should be, you know, do that. So, looks like we're getting close. Says we got 7 minutes left. I don't know. It's got to be shorter than 7 minutes. Let's see what the machine says. What's the little display? is it is done. Boom, there it is. Dun, dun, dun. So 27 minutes, 4 grams. Bring this off. So I guess we are stuck with the one head. I don't know. That's the one that failed. I don't think we had enough contact with the head onto there, because it was just, yeah, it's like it didn't catch. So, but the second one did. So once again, Ferrithus has come to the rescue. Print 2, because 1 is none and 2 is 1. So now that we've gotten the head, let's go back to our paint station, and we can continue putting our guy back together. Because now we have a head. And that tongue, ooh, look at that tongue. That little tiny piece in there, that is super tiny. Wow, that is gonna, I don't know if the tongue is gonna make it there, folks. So we'll just start with just do some little cutting and tweaking. Nothing crazy. Oh, we did have heads. Oh, we did have heads. Holy crow. Look at that. I totally spaced that out. We did have heads. Now I have an extra head. Now I'm really ahead. Dang. I wasn't paying attention. Holy crap. I thought these were like, I didn't notice, but these are heads. I thought those were like claws. But those are actually the heads. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wilson screwing things up again. What are the odds? Let's just see if we can't rescue this. And boom, we've got it. I guess my xenomorph recognition skills are lacking severely. I'll just put that up there and we'll save that for another day. So, you got the choice of dagger head, pointy head, or broadsword head. And I think I'm going to go with dagger head. Okay, so now, so the dagger head will go in like so, like that. So that is in the spot. Okay. Your your best. I don't know about that. It was only a couple of cents, so no big deal. A few cents, not that crazy, not that big of a loss. So I'll try to get this centered. And we'll get our Mr. And we should be good to go. No, maybe. Here's a little bit in there. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so we got a head. We got a head in life. We can do the same thing here. I think what I'll end up doing, we gotta be careful with his tongue. We will because I really don't want to break up his tongue. And then on this, spray in a little bit. And we will, boom. Boy, that instantly, that, yeah, you don't get second chances with that activator. No, 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 no. So now, we can end up doing, so now we've got big arms, and thing is, was it like that? I think it was like that. I don't know, we might have to, but then we have the small arms that we got to put on there. So we got to do the small arms first. And then we'll do the bigger claws, and we'll figure out where those go. At least these guys have left and right hands, so that's kind of a bonus. I'll just put a little dab on there. Oops, that's a lot. And we'll do a little spritz. And we'll see if we can get this into a good position, like so. Like that. Nice, nice. Doing good. And then this one, we'll kind of put his arm up. Kind of like that. Now the question is, if we do, I think this is the other one, and that'll go up in this one there, or I think it's this one, like that. So we'll kind of do it wide like that, and then that way we could do the arm. I want this arm a little bit up. So he's kind of like that. Oh, this is good. I like this guy. My first Tyranid. spritz. And we got to be careful of his tongue. And we'll put him like so. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that'll look nice. Oh yeah. Okay, but now we need to figure out which. I think it's like this. Or is it like that? No, I think it's like this. So we'll go like that. That's going to be a pain, but we could try to do them out a little bit like that. So it's kind of like sticking out sideways a little bit, because otherwise yeah, we'll just put it out kind of like that. It'll look more imposing. And again, we'll do a little spritz. Hey, sweetie. How was it? Good, good. Making a little alien. Ooh, you're chilly. It's cold. Yes, you're chilly outside.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Deep, 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 deep.
Get your hair cut, honey.
Yeah, one of these days.
Maybe you can do that today? No, not today. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Haircut tomorrow. Alrighty, we can do that. Then this guy, will kind of do the same thing. Like that. That is imposing. So yeah, that is pretty good. We can throw them on the base there, and we would be good to go. And actually, I think I could just put them on here. That is pretty good. Nice. I'm liking it. Okay, so we'll end up, I'll do the glue. Stand them up like that. Kind of. And that is it. It's almost a little bit off on there, but he's done. Okay. Clean that off there, make sure it's nice and clean. So I definitely don't want to get that end clogged. Yeah, this is some crazy, like, crazy adhesive glue. This CA glue is like the best CA glue I've ever used. And it is no joke. Usually what I've been using is, you know, like these little glue things, you know, you get like 4 or 5 of them. Boom. But this stuff is way better. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Okay. There it is. I love it. So there it is, folks. We did our, now this isn't 32 millimeter. Matter of fact, how tall is this guy? This guy ends up being, we're looking at a total of 115. Yeah, he's about 115 there. Yep, maybe 116. So just over 4 inches. But man, that came out nice. That is magnificent. Painting this dude is going to be a project. So, and the details on it are pretty good. Got some layer lines and stuff, but maybe I could have done placement better. But overall, for just a rinky-dink little print there, rinky-dink, that turned out great. That guy did a good model. I like it. So yeah, there he is. The paint scheme on that is going to be good. That is definitely going to be good. So we'll have to clean that up. Just kept putting glue stick on top of that. Yeah, we'll do that. That is some scary glue. Yes, it is. It is definitely scary. It's on there. It's not coming off. Fairly says it turned out amazing. Yes, it did. I really like that. That'll be awesome to check out. Matter of fact, to print that up, that will be nice. Let's see if we can get. Let's see, overhead light maybe? Maybe that'll help a little bit. So yeah, pretty good details on that. Let's see if it'll focus. Probably too close, but yeah, nice. That is, I don't know, I think I like Tyranids. I think I like Tyranids. Yeah. I like it. Alrighty. Ferris says, man, I would love to walk through your shop with my macro lens. That'd be cool. It'd be fun. Nice, nice. Thank you, thank you. Turned out great. Imagine printing one of these life size, like 6 feet tall. Ooh. Ooh. A life size one of these dudes. Holy crow. That would be quite the interesting thing. I don't know. So many ideas and not enough time or money. So anyway, yeah. Coming up, today's the 15th, so we should be paying bills today or tomorrow. So the allowance will be coming in. As soon as that's paid off, the new round of allowance comes through, so we'll get that better camera so we can get some better auto zoom, autofocus and stuff like that. That'll be really good. And yeah, okay, good stuff. That turned out good. So we printed out a few more heads than what we actually needed because, yeah, I was an idiot, but all things worked out. We ended up with a pretty good looking Tyranid from that guy. What was it? Oh, what was his name? Here it is. I'll just throw up the link on, and it's a free model, whatever it is. Free bug on Cults 3D. So if you want to check him out, he's got a few other things on there. But yeah, that turned out pretty good. Nice, nice, nice indeed. So yeah, love it. Not bad at all. He's got a few other bugs and stuff as well. So let's see if he's got some. Check out some of this other stuff he's got. So he's got bugs. He's got 33 designs for bugs. I'm wondering if this is just like all of them. So these, okay, so that's free, that's free. That's 68,001. Holy crap. Really? 68,001. That is... That's $46 for that? Yeah, there's no way. But he's got a number of free items. So that looks pretty cool. Some with guns. There's a big one. So yeah, he's got some cool little dudes he's got going on there. Nice. So yeah, little flying gargoyle thingies, some with guns. I like that. Undead space bug. So yeah, he's got some cool stuff in there. I like that. Some of that other stuff. That's kind of cool looking there. Mantis octopus. Or maybe that one. The undead. What does that look like? Come on. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay. See if we can get a big picture. Get the big picture. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. That could be interesting. Yeah. Alrighty. So there it is. What we ended up doing is, again, like I said, I was having some issues with the Creality K2 Plus. Shut it down. Redo the input tuning, calibration, bed leveling, all of that stuff. And I wanted to print out a model. And what we ended up seeing was our little guy here. Our little Tyranid. That worked out well at 0.16 millimeters, and it ends up, it was like 5 hours and 45 minutes, not counting the 2 extra heads that we did, where one failed, but that worked out because I was able to show you on the machine, on the display, how you can exclude models from being printed so you don't have to waste an entire plate if you have just one failure. So, hey, it works out good. Yeah, it's like the universe is coming together and presenting itself with good information. Okay, so that's what we got going on. I think we're going to end up doing, we got some stuff that we need to do. I need some food to eat, so there's that. And I know you all, you know, got to eat some dinner, food, go to sleep, whatever it is, you know, the time of the world of where you're at. You got things to do. So we're going to cut this short. Really appreciate it if you would like the video, and again, subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. I would appreciate that if you could do that. And if you want to contact me, again, we could hit up here, and there's my email address, officialthevariedlife@gmail.com. Show me, send me stuff, say hi, the stuff that you're printing, painting, whatever it is you're doing. The guy sent me pictures of his ribs that he was smoking. Concept says, have a good one, take care, bud. You as well. Thank you for joining the stream. Ferretus, enjoy your day, almost dinner time. Yes, enjoy your dinner. Happy eating. Sweetest Ford says, yes, have a nice day. You as well, and anybody else who's watching. So after the fact, yeah, like, subscribe, be a good person, have fun, paint, print, enjoy it while you can, because life is short. So we'll take it from there. All right, we'll see you. Peace. Worked out well. Worked out well.